What if I told you that the Democratic Party is undergoing a seismic shift? One that's not just reshaping its ideology, but its very identity. Picture this. A former public health official in Michigan, Abdul El-Sayed, just crushed a well-funded establishment candidate in a primary race. Not because he had more money, but because he tapped into a raw nerve in American politics. This isn't just a local upset. It's a signal that the left-wing insurgency has officially crossed the Rubicon. And here's what makes it fascinating. This isn't happening in a blue city like San Francisco or Chicago. It's happening in Michigan, a state that's been a battleground for decades. What does that say about the Democratic Party's future? It says the old guard is on notice, and the new guard is ready to rewrite the rules. Let's unpack this. El-Sayed ran on a platform that would make Bernie Sanders blush. Universal health care, ending military aid to Israel, and gutting corporate influence in politics. But here's the kicker. His opponent, Haley Stevens, had $60 million in outside funding, including $30 million from AIPAC. That's not just money. It's a political weapon. And yet, El-Sayed won. Why? Because younger voters, especially in places like Detroit, are fed up with the status quo. They don't want incrementalism. They want revolution. And they're tired of being told their concerns about Gaza, student debt, and healthcare aren't the priority. What this suggests is that the Democratic Party is facing a reckoning. It can either evolve or risk becoming irrelevant to the next generation of voters. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture. This isn't just about one race. It's part of a global trend where people are rejecting elites who don't reflect their lived realities. From France to Brazil, populism is on the rise, but on both ends of the spectrum. The difference here is that the left isn't just reacting to Trump's chaos. They're building a movement. Think about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Zohran Mamdani, and the Squad. These aren't just politicians. They're symbols of a new era. And the Democratic Party is now stuck between two worlds. The centrist establishment that's been in power for decades, and the progressive wing that's demanding radical change. What's wild is that this tension isn't just internal. It's being weaponized by Trump, who's framing the left as dangerous radicals to rally his base. But here's the irony. The more Trump attacks them, the more the left gains legitimacy. And let's not ignore the role of corporate money. The Democratic Leadership Council, which birthed the third way in the 90s, is now scrambling to defend its legacy. But here's the problem. The old model of relying on Wall Street and Silicon Valley donors is losing its grip. Progressive candidates aren't just criticizing the system. They're offering alternatives. They're saying, we don't need more money from corporations. We need policies that actually help people. That's a message that resonates in a time of rising inequality and distrust in institutions. What this really suggests is that the party's future hinges on whether it can reconcile its progressive base with its centrist donors, without alienating either side. But here's the thing. The 2028 presidential race is already shaping up. Will it be AOC, Ro Khanna, or someone else who can channel the energy of this movement? The stakes are huge. If the left doesn't consolidate its power, the moderates will push back harder. And if they do, they'll have to answer a question. Can a party that's split between save the system and burn it down ever govern effectively? The answer might determine whether the Democratic Party survives or becomes a relic of a bygone era.